Hello, hi, welcome once again to M5's English language learning program, Let's Speak English. I'm Gav Duncan and I'm here on your TV to help you learn English. Now, are you sitting comfortably? Yes? Good. And are you ready for today's lesson? Yes? Good. Okay, well let's learn English together. And welcome, yes, welcome to the last day of the week, lesson 510, the latest lesson in our English course and the last lesson of the week too. If that's not enough, it's the end of August, isn't it? Yes, and that means that today is not only the last day of the week, but also the last day of the month. What about that, huh? Pretty something. I'm not sure which adjective fits the sentence best. Pretty impressive? Pretty final? Pretty impressive? Again? Pretty strange? I'm not sure which one I like best. Okay, let's just agree that all of these things, the fact that it's Friday, the last day of the week, the standard working week, of course, but then you all knew that, didn't you? Of course you did. Okay, so there's the fact that this is the last day of the week, and then we can add to that the fact that it's the last day of the month of August 2018. Then we can add something else to the mix, can't we? Yes! Open up the blender and let's put something else in. It's the last lesson of the week. It's lesson 510, the latest lesson in our English course. And it's happening now, on the last day of the week, on the last day of the month, the last day of August. Okay, that's all pretty impressive, and I'm sure that it means that the constellations of stars above us are feeling very positive. Positive about their lives, positive about their biorhythms, and of course positive about us. So whatever adjective we, or rather you, decide to use, make sure it's a good one. Last day of the week, last lesson of the week, last day of the month, blimey. All right then, let's make a start. So, let's continue with what we were looking at yesterday, shall we? Yes, and hopefully it's not going to be difficult. Don't worry, there's nothing in today's lesson that's likely to make your brain blow a fuse, trust me. I expect a grand total of 0 nervous breakdowns as a result of today's lesson. For one thing, think about it, people. If you do give in to a mental breakdown, then what happens to your weekend? Exactly, bing goes your weekend, just like that. When all of your friends are out having fun, you'll be sitting in a padded cell somewhere with one of those funny jackets with the strange long arms. All right, make sure that you don't suffer a nervous breakdown. Make sure that you don't go off your rocker. Make sure that you don't go mad or have a nervous breakdown or a mental breakdown or fit. If you do, you'll miss all the fun. All right, now what else was there? What other vocabulary did we hear when I was conversing, when I was having a conversation with Enid? Well, there was one phrase which I didn't think we'd seen before, the phrase to get blood from a stone. Now, this one's pretty simple, isn't it? Are stones alive? Are they living creatures? No. So, what does that mean? Well, it means a few things, really, doesn't it? For one thing, it means that stones don't go to school. They don't have brains, so it'd be a complete waste of time. They don't speak foreign languages. That's another one. Of course they don't speak any language. Oh, they haven't got mouths or tongues to change the flow of air coming from their throats, and come to think of it, they don't have throats, or lungs for that matter. Rocks don't have a pulmonary system, and they haven't got hearts either. And that means, what? Yes, that means that we can't get blood from them, can we? They don't have blood. They don't have veins or arteries or hearts. So, when someone says that something is like getting blood from a stone, what do you think they mean? Well, they mean that it's very difficult. In actual fact, when people say this, when they use this phrase, that's what they mean. They mean that something is very, very difficult. But if we actually think about it, getting blood from a stone is like getting an autograph from my maternal grandfather. It's not just very, very difficult, it's impossible. Stones, as far as I'm aware, don't have circulatory systems or hearts, and they don't have blood. So that makes it impossible in my book. And as for my maternal grandfather, in fact, as for all of my grandparents, it's impossible to get an autograph from them. They're all dead, which makes it completely impossible for them to sign anything. But as I said, the phrase is actually, well, not used 100% accurately. We should use it to describe something which is impossible, but we don't. We use this phrase to indicate something which is very difficult, not impossible. If, however, we're talking about something which is impossible, then there are some other phrases we can use. We say, for example, when pigs fly, because we know that pigs can't fly. So this becomes another way of saying that something will never happen. If someone tells you that they will do something but you don't believe them, you can answer, yeah, when pigs fly, to show that you think this will never happen. Also, we can use the phrase, when hell freezes over, to mean the same thing. We know that hell is very hot, it's on fire, it's a burning inferno, 24/7. So we know that hell will never freeze over. It's just another phrase we can use to show we think something will never happen. He says that he's going to divorce his wife and marry me. Yeah, when pigs fly and hell freezes over. All right, so blood from a stone, it should mean something impossible, but it doesn't. It does mean, however, that this task is very difficult. All right, what's next? Well, there was another nice phrase in there, something Enid said. She said that she wasn't going to rise to the bait. Now, this is a nice, useful phrase, and oddly enough, it comes from the world of fishing. Bait. That's where we want to start. Bait is something you use when you're hunting to attract an animal. If, for example, you want to catch a giraffe and you read on the internet that fabulous store of possibly correct information that giraffes love pizza, then when you set a trap for the giraffe, you use pizza as your bait. This is the food that you're going to use to help you catch a giraffe. You put a slice of pizza in the trap and wait, and the giraffe smells the pizza. And because the giraffe loves pizza, it comes to eat it and falls into your trap. Okay, so if you're hunting a giraffe, you use pizza as bait. But if you're fishing, then you have to use something else. Everyone knows that fish can't stand the taste of pizza. I think it's the tomato sauce. I read on the internet that fish don't like tomato sauce. Anyway, if you go fishing, if you want to catch a fish, you need bait. You need some sort of food that fish like to attract them to your hook or net. You need some bait to tempt them, to lure them to the hook at the end of your fishing line. So, you might be using live bait, a worm for example, or you might go to a fishing shop and buy some bait, some sort of food that fish like. Anyway, you bait your hook, you put a bit of food or you impale the worm on the hook which is at the end of your fishing line, and then you cast your line. You flick your fishing rod so that the weight at the end of the hook is cast out far into the river or lake or sea or ocean or paddling pool or whatever you're fishing in. Now, when the fish smells the bait, they move in that direction, and normally the fish are at the bottom of the water, so they rise to the bait. They rise, they come up to the bait. If you're lucky, the fish rise to the bait, try to eat the bait on the hook, get the hook stuck in their mouth, start to panic and dance about and things, shouting, help, and things like that. And that's when you see the little rubber ring dancing about, the signal that you've got a bite. Now, all you have to do is reel the fish in. Well, and then take it home and gut it, clean it and remove the scales and cook it and eat. Honestly, it might be easier to order a takeaway pizza and give the fish to the cat. Just a suggestion. Okay, now back to where we were. Enid said that she wasn't going to rise to the bait. So, what do you think she meant when she said that? Yes, she was saying that she had recognized the bait. It's a trap. You're trying to trap me. And because she recognized that this was a trap, she wasn't going to rise to the bait. She wasn't going to take the bait. She wasn't going to try and eat the bait because she knows it's a trap. When someone says they're not going to rise to the bait, or when someone tells you not to rise to the bait, what we're talking about is provocation. Someone is trying to trap you into reacting. Someone is trying to provoke you into a reaction. Say I'm a photographer, for example. That's my job, and I work for a tabloid newspaper. The sort of newspaper that prints stories about, oh, I don't know, about who the father of Lady Gaga's baby is. You know, the sort of thing. Papers and magazines are very interested in scandal and exciting things like that. It's not important if the story's true or not. This has nothing to do with truth. This is about more important things. Money. Okay, so that's the scenario. I'm a photographer who works for a newspaper which loves scandal, sensation, gossip, things like that. So, I'm a member of a paparazzi, a photographer who tries to get scandalous photos of celebrities and people like that. Now, if my boss tells me to get a picture of George Clooney, then, okay, I can do that. But what if my boss wants a photo of George Clooney when he's angry? How about that? Well, again, that's simple. All I have to do is go up to George and say nasty things about him, his wife, his mum and dad, his last film. I can call him fatty and tease him about how much weight he's put on. I can say that he looks really old. It must be all that instant coffee that he drinks. I can call him lots of names, rude names. Names which are too rude to say on the telly. Names like, ooh, I don't know, names like this. Pretty rude, eh? Yes. I'm glad you're all sitting down. Has anyone fainted? No? Whew. That's God for that. Okay, now, what do I want? I want George to react, don't I? Yes, I want him to be offended by what I say to him. This is all part of my plan, my master plan. Insult George, call him all the nasty, rude names I can think of, and then when he takes the bait, when he rises to the bait, when he falls into my trap, then when he turns into the Incredible Hulk and tries to kill me, that's when I take some photos, and then run away. Obviously, very quickly. And then I can go to my boss, give him the photos, and the newspaper can print a story to make lots of money. If George is clever, or if his wife is clever, and she's a lawyer, he's only an actor, so, well, she's probably got more brains than he has. So if his wife is there, she'll tell him, no, George, don't be silly. That's a member of a paparazzi. He's trying to get you to react. He wants you to react. He wants you to fall into his trap. Stay calm. Think of green fields of grass and other nice things. Think about sheep and goats and ignore him. Whatever you do, don't rise to the bait. So that's all that it means. Fish get caught, fish get trapped, fish get caught, killed, gutted and eaten. But if you're clever, if you're not stupid like a daft fish, you can remain calm in the face of provocation and not rise to the bait. That way you win. All right, and on that positive note, with some sort of hippie, meditative vibe, it's time for us to leave you all. Yes, people, that time is here once again. Home time! Well, it's home time for me. You're already there. So, you all know the drill, don't you? Finish your chores, stroke the rhino, scratch the giraffe under its chin, and then, yes, by then, it'll be time for you to start getting ready for Friday. Hit the shower, get in, get wet, get soapy, get shampooy, get conditionery, get out, get dried, and make sure you get some antiperspirant on your armpits. Yes, banish the smell. Just say no. Say no to the concept of smelling like a homeless dinosaur's armpits. That's all you have to do. I'll see you all on Monday. Have a great weekend and make sure that you have all the fun of the fair. See you on Monday. See you later. www.mediaclick.hu. Bye!